Welcome back, guys, to my new video regarding your AWS and DevOps interview and cheat sheet. So I received many requests to prepare some videos on AWS DevOps and share some cheat sheet, some concept about how we can help you to crack your AWS DevOps interview. We all know that remember everything is difficult, especially on your interview day. And DevOps is an ocean because it's a the combination of two culture, one is the development, one is the operation. So many tools and techniques, many services, uh, many concepts are there, many related to pipelines, many related to your artifacts, then Docker, then Kubernetes, and then Jenkins, and then so many things, so many services, so many uh, uh, services and the related artifacts are also there. So it's difficult to remember everything. So we need a cheat sheet. Remember, guys, it's very difficult to remember everything, and we cannot recall everything during a 1 hour left for the interview. So I thought let's help you on this in this way to help you to prepare for your interview and cheat sheet. So we all know that DevOps, AWS DevOps is it's all about services. So different services uh, will talk to each other in a different way, and that's how we manage our entire development to the operations. So DevOps means it's from development to the operations, right? You do the coding, and then you do the dev build, then you do the testing, then you do the release, then the configuration part. You deploy those things, you monitor those things, and then again, based on the feedback, you will do the continuous deployment, continuous integration. So it's a continuous thing. That's why this the circle is also a never ending circle. So let's talk about this AWS DevOps thing. So AWS DevOps cheat sheet. I mean, these are the topics that we will be covering during our training. But the majority of topics, the major topics are SDLC, your cloud formation, and ops work, beanstalks and ops work. These are the core areas of any AWS DevOps thing, and along with the container management services. So, most important thing in this training world, and when you prepare for the interview and cheat sheet, is to have a very informative material. You no need to read 200-page books during the interview. I mean, before the interview, if somebody asks you to read 100 pages or 200 pages book, then it's irrelevant for that. You cannot read all those things and you can go for interview. So we try to keep it short, and this video is also I'm trying to keep it very short. So first thing we'll see, we'll look into this training in this cheat sheet is SDLC, the software development lifecycle. Many people who are new to this DevOps thing, so DevOps thing starts with the development, and this development will have many phases, like for example, build, the coding, then build, then test, then release, then deploy. So these are the different phases of the software development lifecycle, and over a period of time there are many changes happens from waterfall model to the agile one, and from the agile one to the DevOps one. So all these phases are covered in this SDLC automation. And then when it comes to the AWS thing, AWS DevOps thing, so every phase they have a different name. For example, in our traditional Git environment or traditional DevOps environment, we normally say it's a Git, uh, you know, Git level or Git stage, you know. But in AWS DevOps thing, we call it a code commit. So similarly, there are similar to code commit, we have similar code deploy, then code pipeline. So these are the different phases of your software development life cycle. So let's get into that, and don't waste your time, so that we'll get to know what exactly we're trying to cover. So first thing is AWS code commit. The code commit is your uh, the location of their code. So Amazon will not entertain anything from Git. I mean, you can connect with the Git, but in the code commit, Amazon will ask you where is your Git location, or the Git uh, your repository location, and then you will define the Git location, and then it will pull the Git repository, and then you can use the AWS code commit. That's how, I mean, just to bring your code to the Amazon table. That is called AWS code commit. And then we have a code pipeline. The code pipeline basically is our Jenkins code pipeline sort of things, but pipeline is designed for a continuous integration, continuous delivery, so that every time the manual intervention should be less. As soon as the code ready, as soon as uh, the testing is done, or as soon as the deployment is done. So when we say as soon as, means somebody has to inform someone that okay, I'm done, and that's what the continuous integration, continuous delivery is all about. So it automatically builds. Automatically means the scripts will be there that will do the building, and then test and deploy the code. Then it integrates with the AWS services like code commit, S3, code deploy, Elastic Beanstalk, Opsworks, and AWS Lambda. So this is all about AWS code pipeline. Pipeline is very important because when you get the code, get the code in your AWS side. That is for code commit. The second thing is code pipeline. The code pipeline will help to connect the dots basically. We'll get into the details of the code pipeline. So here is how the code pipeline works. Source, the coding part, and then the build part, and then your staging, manual approval, and then deploy to the production one. So always remember, the build is something very crucial, very critical. So build can be your Maven Java build can be your um, Gradle build, or any different type of build operations are there. And this coding part and the build part is a bit towards a development side. That's why I request you, during your training, if you could try to learn some language, that will be really helpful. I mean, the concept of any programming language, how the programming language uh, speak to the DevOps thing. And it's not that tough, guys. I'm telling you, it's not that tough. But only thing is that uh, be ready to learn the language. It will help you definitely. Anyway, let's jump to the next part, that is code build. So code build basically it compiles your code simple way, whether it's a Java code or whether it's any Gradle code or Ruby code or any code that will do the build. And we know build means it's a compile basically. The compiler, right? Sometimes we have a code and then you say dot make something. I mean, in parser, you when you download any software from the internet and you say double click setup. When you click on that setup, something happens, right? That's called the compilation, right? uh, and then the next step is uh, the code build, and then the fully manage, on demand, out of the box. So these are the code build thing. Code build. uh, in code build, Amazon will provide you some additional tools, techniques, and um, you can say the templates that will help you to build. No need to write long codes. That will help you. So if you are a coder or you're from development background, no issues. But if you are not from those backgrounds and you want to learn, you want to explore those things, here is the deal, and CodeBuild will help you in that. Then code deploy. We have a build. We have first we have a commit, then we have pipeline, then we have build, then we have code deploy. So code deploy service coordinate with the application deployment and make sure that you know the the deployment of your artifacts is completed on any EC2 instances or any size basically. So code deploy will take care of that. So when you say code deploy on any of the Lambda platform, Lambda means the automation platform. So when you build any application, you have a code, then you do the build. You could build the application means you create the application, then specify the deployment group where you want to deploy. Specific deployment configuration on which specific configuration you want to deploy, and these are the steps after that we need to follow in the Lambda platform. So basically, Lambda is a tool that will help us to deploy the things with automation in mind. So for example, the deployment configuration is specific to specify how traffic is shifted from your original Lambda function to your new Lambda function. So Lambda functions, Lambda ultimately it's a code. Lambda means it's a code. Will help you to write some simple code. Then you can write your code based on the requirement. But ultimately Lambda means it's a code that you need to write the code that as soon as something happens, we need to do this. So upload the application specific file, deploy the functions, specify the sec file to the deployment group, and check the deployment results. So setting up the deployment group by specifying your deployment group name. So when you want to deploy something, you need to create the deployment group. For example, in your AWS EC2 instances creation and load balancers, you create the group, the security group or the deployment group or some group to make it easy. I mean, ultimately we are creating all these things to make the deployment, the massive amount of deployment, multiple process, to automate the thing so that you can concentrate on the coding. Or coding means the Lambda function to automate the things, right? So working a code deploy in place deployment, it's something that we have the code ready, whether it's on S3 or then GitHub. Then the deployment contain an appropriate file. If you have those files, then those things will be there in your S3. And the second step is the code deploy. So code deploy will make sure that whatever the code you want to deploy on code deploy means not guys the raw code, it's a build thing, the application thing that is built after your build operation. So that's very important to understand. So code deploy thing, it's not a code build, right? Code deploy thing means you're deploying the actual application. And during interview, they normally ask because this code deploy blue green deployment means, let's say blue green deployments, you can explain those things in your interview. Something like you have a two environment, let's say in production and pre-prod, and you want to update the production. So what you will do is you will ask the users to connect your pre-prod and you will update your production environment, and then you will shift the user to from pre-prod to prod, and then again you can take the pre-prod environment for a update thing. So without stopping the application for the end user, you're updating those things. That's called a blue green deployment. And there are other concepts are there that we will discuss during our training. So this is all about the blue green deployment, very important from your interview point of view. And yes, this CodeStar thing, by the way, it's a new thing, AWS CodeStar. So AWS CodeStar is a cloud-based development Service that provides the tools you need to quickly develop, build, and deploy application in AWS. Something like your Elastic Beanstalks and your Kubernetes thing. So start developing AWS in minutes. Cross the project templates. As I said earlier, uh, in AWS, the beautiful thing is they will provide you a lot of templates, or you can say the use cases that will help. That will help to understand how to uh, start doing things a bit faster. Because even though if you crack the interview when you join any company, you will be flooded with the work, definitely, and you need to make sure that you are automating the things properly by using cloud formation or any other uh, infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code is a tool like Terraform or cloud formation templates or something like that. So manage the software delivery easily, work across your team securely, and project management dashboard to monitor. So uh, when you say this SDLC thing, the important thing to understand here is how these things are connected with each other. Definitely some pipeline. So we discussed about the AWS code pipeline. That pipeline plays a very important role, guys. And with the one or two labs and one or two projects, uh, you will be, you will get to know about what is what, and you will be ready for the interview. With 3 4 labs, uh, I would say more than 10 times labs and 3 projects. That will help, and we don't help you in the project. You do your level best, and then we will help you to solve the issues, to find out your gaps. That is the most important thing, guys. Somebody is telling you your gaps, you should be thankful to him, because nowadays it's very difficult to get the correct material, correct videos. Thousands, billions of videos are there, and it's very difficult to find the correct one. uh, we spend a lot of time on videos, so we'll provide you all the lab materials, how to do the labs basically, and uh, for interview preparation we'll help you in the cheat sheets and um, you know how to elaborate the things. Basically you need to know how to elaborate the things. So these are the some point that I think it is very important to understand. More labs. Without labs, don't even think about interview, guys. I mean, lab means lab plus projects. Give some time to digest. Definitely, you do the lab today and don't think that you will be ready for interview tomorrow. At least give a week or 2 weeks time, and will help you to create your story. I mean, you need, that's most important thing, guys. You need to explain your experience in a way that the interviewer should get a feel that you know the things, or you have been working on these technology. So understand how to elaborate your experience. Very important. During interview, definitely you need to tell, when you create the stories and you need to tell them, when you elaborate your experience, that will help the interviewer that, okay, the level of your knowledge. And then he will ask you about those things. And if you don't know, say no, I don't know the thing. I mean, instead of saying no, you can say I never work, I will never get a chance to work on this kind of environment, especially for any new tools and techniques, like for Google Cloud or something. You can tell them, and yeah, we are there to help you. You can contact us on 900 821 7218. We are available on Urban Pro at the Sarthi Foundation, and you can send me the email also, sukrutusa@gmail.com, and we'll help you uh, to finish your training first, to get trained, guys, first. And it is not only training, that after training we'll say goodbye, tata, but definitely will help you to prepare for the interview, because you are going for a training, just not for the training, but ultimately attending the interviews. Then, guys, thank you. Thanks a lot for your fun, for your all the views. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe this channel, so that you will get to know about uh, new videos, that I have been preparing, and any changes in the technology, then you will be updated on this one. Thank you, guys.